According to the most accurate pollsters Rasmussen, Emerson College, Big Data Poll, and Alice Intel, Donald Trump is headed for a massive electoral college victory. He currently leads with white voters by roughly, give or take, 12 points, with African American voters by a little bit over 50 points for Harris. We see Hispanics. Harris is winning those by 8 points and winning Asian/other by 7 points. And today we're going to be looking at what that would look like on an electoral map based on the most accurate pollsters. The safe Republican states are as follows: Utah, Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, as well as North Dakota and South Dakota, all of the districts in Nebraska, including the at-large vote, for the exception of Nebraska second. Kansas is in the safe Republican column, as well as the state of Oklahoma, including Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina. We could also go down here and look for some other safe Democrat states. They go as follows. In the state of California, Kamala Harris leads by 18 percentage points. She leads by 70 points in the District of Columbia. We also have a pretty impressive lead for her in Massachusetts of 26 points and in Maryland of 23 points. In the state of Vermont, she currently leads by just 29 percentage points in this forecast. And Maine's 1st congressional district is an 18-point win for Kamala Harris, giving her just 82 safe electoral college votes. Looking at this expanded electoral map, Donald Trump is going to have a somewhat good time winning this just because Kamala Harris is underperforming Joe Biden with the safe states. Looking at the likely Republican states, Ohio is a 13-point win for Donald Trump in this video. He won it by 8 points in the last election. Donald Trump technically loses a point with white voters according to the aggregated crosstabs, but is doing so much better with other demographics that he essentially makes up for that by gaining a couple points with African Americans, Hispanics, and Asian voters. Remember that Donald Trump's support is always underestimated with these groups. Looking at Iowa, for example, that is also about a 13-point win. They are roughly going to be voting with each other this cycle, and they will be pretty decent victories for the former president. Looking at Florida, a 10.5-point win is on the way for the former president, according to the latest pollsters, as well as the state of Texas being a 12-point win for the former president, including Maine's 2nd congressional district, putting him at a very comfortable, give or take, looking at the margin here, about a comfortable 12-point win, which is 2 points higher than his 2016 margin in the state. We can also see North Carolina is developing a huge margin for Donald Trump, an 8-point victory. This is definitely due to the African American support he has received in this video based on the crosstabs from the most accurate pollsters, alongside Georgia following a 7.5-point win. They roughly have about a 25 to 30% electorate of African American voters, and so that's why you're seeing such massive margins in these states as of right now, since Donald Trump does gain with African Americans by quite a substantial amount in this forecast. In the state of Arizona, a 5.5-point win is on the way for the former president, including the state of Nevada, which is exactly a 5-point victory in this forecast, putting Donald Trump at just 268 electoral college votes as of right now. Now, looking at the other likely Democrat states, we have Washington and Oregon in the likely Democrat column at roughly 12 points and 10 points respectively. In the 2020 election, Joe Biden won Washington by 19 and Oregon by 16. So these improvements are actually pretty large compared to the last cycle. Colorado is only a 7-point win for Kamala Harris. It was a 13-point victory for Joe Biden in the last matchup. So the fact it's narrowed up that much in this video is definitely very fascinating. Illinois will just be a 9-point win for Kamala Harris in this video. Joe Biden won the state, give or take, by 17 points in the last election. So an improvement of about roughly 8 points is also a pretty big deal as well. In this video, Donald Trump's going to do a lot better in the Chicago area, as it seems. Looking at the state of New York, Kamala Harris is expected to win a 14.5-point win in this video. The New York City boroughs will definitely move to the right in this forecast. We can also see in certain areas like Connecticut, a 12.5-point win is on the way. Delaware, a 10.5-point victory is also on the way. And in Rhode Island, we can see roughly a 14-point victory for Kamala Harris. And in New Jersey, just an 8-point win in the state of New Jersey. Absolutely incredible stuff. And Hawaii is actually below the 15-point threshold. There's only a 14-point win for Kamala Harris due to Donald Trump's Asian support being much greater this cycle than in previous elections. We can see he's only losing Asian/other by 7 points. In the last election, he lost this group by over 20 percentage points. He also lost Hispanics by about 30 points, and he lost black voters by about 80-something points, and now he's only down with them by around the 60s, give or take, or 70s, which is very impressive, roughly 60s. So he's improved with minority demographics quite a bit. The white vote's relatively stable from the last cycle, but we see Donald Trump make very great inroads in this election forecast, basically sweeping the Sun Belt and all of the traditionally likely Republican areas, leaving him one state short from winning the White House. And if we were to fill out the lean Republican states, we would have Wisconsin as a 4.5-point victory, which would get him to 278 electoral college votes. Pennsylvania at 4.4 percentage points in this forecast, and Michigan as a 3.5-point victory. The Rust Belt would be a pretty easy win for the former president in this forecast. As of right now, Donald Trump would be exceeding expectations, and he would be demolishing Kamala Harris in the Rust Belt. Looking for those lean Democrat states, we have Maine at large at about 4 points for Kamala Harris, Minnesota at just 1.7 percentage points for Kamala Harris. We can also see Virginia at just a 2.8 percentage point win for Kamala Harris, including New Hampshire at 2.4%, as well as New Mexico at just 1.9 percentage points in this forecast, leaving Kamala Harris with roughly 225, in addition with Nebraska second being the closest state or district in the entire map with just a 0.5 point victory for Kamala Harris. And so based on the latest pollsters updates on their crosstabs, averaging out all of the crosstab data and filling in the correct electorate, essentially the correct electorate amount, and looking at the margins and using the Cook political swingometer to basically create these margins, Donald Trump is winning the election with 312 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 226 electoral votes based on the latest accurate pollsters. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want more content just like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.